Hey, everybody. It is April 10th, 2020 on a Friday morning, and I think our last one was March 13th.
Yeah.
That haven't released yet. Dr. James Choo's in the house. James, crazy time. Corona,
yeah,
has affected the world.
Yeah. We got this nice filter right here to block the virus.
Yeah. Just for you guys, we have masks and gloves on, so we're doing our part today. Ben's social distancing.
Yeah,
from me. I blew him a kiss and called it.
His mustache is a nice viral filter.
Yes,
it's natural.
Yes, come on, we got to shave that. We got to shave that, Ben. All right, so how do we open this up? It's been a while since we've been doing anything.
The world has been on hold since the last time we had a conversation.
The world's been on hold. Our Do More group has defunct.
It's gone. They went to do more to do absolutely nothing.
They went to do more to hole up and do nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know how those people are adjusting. I know that we talked about this before we got on air today. This situation has definitely revealed people's characters and walks and what they're afraid of and not afraid of.
Yeah. I mean, it's been the wildest social experimental ride of, and you learn so much about human behavior. I mean, it's been minute to minute changes, at least for our job, and in the healthcare field, not knowing what we're going to be doing, the rules and regulations, the executive orders from the governors, from this, and that, and all the uncertainty, fears, joblessness. I mean, it is certainly making things very difficult to keep your wits about you if you are, if you don't have your job and all this kind of stuff, and what this virus can do, what it may or may not do, all that stuff. It's been wild ride for a lot of folks, and as a result, what are your observations and what you see, Chaz?
There's about 3 to 4 people, and we talked about energy in our last episode that we'll release soon, but the energy of Dr. James Choo and the energy of Harrison Smith are probably the most consistent that I've been around in a long time, and me finally getting there at peace and finding some more meditation and spiritual. It's just a solid way to walk, and you wish more people could get there so they could not be so stressed in these times.
Well, you've taken this as an opportunity, it seems like, to make things a little bit more quiet in your life. So I guess in the last yet to be revealed podcast, you were finishing up combine season. We kind of talked about energy and all that kind of stuff. So maybe that will be released and I have a little bit more context. Coronavirus hits right after that, and it has been like this forced quiet time for the Woodgym. I mean, everyone, of course.
Everyone, but
you've taken it as an opportunity, right?
As a reflection, as a semi-vacation. I've taken all this as a blessing. I know, our prayers go out to everybody that has passed away or got infected from this, for sure. But you always got to look at positives, and if you don't, you'll just go down a spiraling hole of dismal bliss. So I didn't want to do that. So I was like, wow, like you said, the combine's very heavy, 3 months, people living with you and training and doing all that. So you get into other stable of haven't had time to sit and reflect at all. So then you really get this time and you're like, let me see how I want to take my business. Let me see, at 51 years of age, doing it almost 30 years, where do I want to go now? Because now you have choices, because all of a sudden your business is...
The world has stopped. People aren't driving on the roads as much. I mean, it's literally so much more quiet now. Right?
Yeah. Now, coming in this morning, there were a lot of people out there.
Okay.
There were a lot more. I think people are getting... I think this is going to take a reflection of we're like, it's biblical. We're designed to work. We're designed to do something. So I
Yeah.
think people are like, okay, I can only sit and watch so much Netflix. I can only sit and
Yeah.
drink so much, eat so much. To figure out who their spouses are, their friends are, figure out the balance of that. Like I said, the business part for me is going to be amazing. And I've used this as a blessing to uncertain levels of where it's going to go for the next 2 or 3 years, because I've been forced with the blessing of this to figure it out. I couldn't before. I was always had questions because I never had time to stop.
Yeah.
Because you're working 14, 16 hours a day, and you're like, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
Now you have time to reflect, and you're like, how do I want to do this? And it is all on me. It's my choice. And I never had that choice before, because
Right.
I still felt like I was the person from 20, 25 years ago. And I'm not.
Oh, right.
The business isn't.
Right.
I'm not. The people I'm around, I'm not. So I get to make my own choices now.
Okay. So, I mean, for you, I guess 20, 25 years, well, you're just getting your career started, right?
Yes.
And then you're just hustling and probably a little, not as secure in your establishment, right? I mean, early on, I would say. And so you're just always kind of, it's developing your reputation, developing your, skill set and all that kind of stuff. And right now at 51, after you've been doing it for so long, you can kind of say, look, I don't, that grind is for a younger Charlie.
Right.
Right. And,
Yeah.
and things are a lot more established, and you can kind of pick and choose, right? What you want. Right.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. This grind isn't, I'm going to have a different grind.
Yeah.
And it started.
Yeah.
It started in April, and it's going to keep going. And there'll be more yeses and more nos, and not, it's just not going to, the Woodgym is not going to control me anymore. I'm going to control it.
Right. So I guess that really you've taken this opportunity to look at wellness. Oh my.
Yeah, I tried to FaceTime Kojak all night long to see if he wanted to be our third guy on the podcast, but he went missing.
Well,
He would have been a perfect guy because, he's a soft liberal. And he would have saw it the other way, that this is 100% real. We're all going to die. Nobody's going to heaven. There is no heaven. I don't know what it is.
What just happened, man? What just happened to the podcast?
Yeah, it just went crazy. He walked in with gloves, a mask, boots.
Oh my gosh! One of our Woodgym personalities just walked through with a completely different haircut.
Dr. Steve Sterling's in the house. Steven!
Got a makeover. Wow.
Yes.
Well, I mean, so I think you've taken upon yourself to look at this as an opportunity for at least mental wellness, and I think kind of when I'm looking at this whole thing just on a national level, and I'm looking at those who are seem to be more at risk. This happened pretty early on in some of the thoughts that were going on in, say, Italy. Okay, that there was a vulnerable group of individuals that were 65, maybe had some comorbidities, meaning that they were also ill, diabetics, maybe also smokers, and kind of an unhealthier lifestyle. Those were the most at risk for dying from the disease or getting worse complications as a result. And it's kind of shaking out in a similar fashion here now. I know that there will be the exceptions that we can find someone out there that has died from coronavirus that didn't have any of the classic risks, older, and maybe this person was younger, didn't have any health symptoms, and for whatever reason, tragically they've died. So, but that, if I have to take the 40,000 foot view of this and look at it from a kind of statistical perspective and say, okay, the vast majority of individuals did have comorbidities. And I had some conversations with, I trained in New Orleans. And so New Orleans Parish thus far has had about twice the amount per 100,000 than New York as far as deaths are concerned. So it was a lot harder hit. I trained down there and had spoken to some old friends of mine that were our physicians in some of the bigger hospital that's taking care of a lot of the COVID patients. And they got hit like Hurricane Katrina all over again. It was very, very serious down there. very sick individuals. But a lot of their earlier reports were some of these individuals that were getting going to the ICU were also individuals that were morbidly obese, diabetics, and whatnot. Okay, so that was kind of the profile. And the latest Reuters report that I've looked at said about 97% of the individuals in New Orleans had some either diabetes, they were obese, or they had heart issues, or some of these chronic conditions. And so, when I'm thinking about this disease, I'm also thinking about the things that you and I have been talking about this entire time: wellness and fitness and all that. This kind of resilience in the face of stress. And I mean, what is more stressful right now than this? Not only the fears of coronavirus, but what it's actually doing to our governments, what it's actually doing to our businesses, your employment, and all that kind of stuff. Very, 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 very stressful right now. And so your inherent resilience, I think, can stem from how well, what kind of homework did you do beforehand, right? What kind of were you prepared physically for all of this? Were you, it's a good time if you're at home right now, being safer at home, shelter in place, or whatever it may be, to start thinking about your physical wellness. Because we can't, we can socially distance, we can do all of those things, and we should at this time. But at the same time, we can't control for our age, all right? 65, 75, 80 years old. We can't do that. But we can certainly have a large amount of control in the foods that we eat and how well you are physically, all right? Because clearly those are the most people at risk for problems, okay? It's not everyone, but the vast majority of people that have had the most serious outcomes from this had these chronic conditions that could well be managed with a lifestyle, right? A health and wellness. So did we do our homework to prepare ourselves physically with wellness? And I think all of our conversations that we had before lead up to this. Those people that are physically more capable are also inherently more resilient to the virus. And why aren't we talking about that?
Why Steve just in time? Good job, Stephen.
Yeah, but why haven't we haven't talked about it as a nation? Well, let's get our nation prepared for the next virus. Okay, get your ass in shape then. Not the let's not shake hands and all this kind of stuff. Why aren't we talking about, okay, let's cut ourselves off from the medical, pharmaceutical industrial complex, okay? So, and I'm a doctor, and I make my money in my business and my livelihood off of, treating people at times with medicines, at times with other things, but at the same time, I like nothing better than for my patients to be off of stuff if they can, right? So for their own well-being. So what now is a good time to prepare ourselves for that whatever next wave of disease that might be coming theoretically in the fall, because what you need to do is get in shape. We can talk about the not shaking hands, we can talk about the social distancing and all that kind of stuff, but those who are most at risk are the ones that are smoking, drinking, eating too much, not exercising enough, bottom line. The ones that are most at risk. And of course, the ones that are older, and we can't control for all of those things. So, but there are some individuals that can look at this coming up, that's this next wave, the weather's getting better. Man, if you're at home right now, there are things that you can do at home. There are a lot of online resources. Gravity is still around, all of us. The world hasn't completely stopped. There's still gravity. So you can do your push-ups and pull-ups, and you can walk upstairs, or other things that you can do to get yourself in shape, right? Mm-hmm. So why aren't we thinking about the nation in those terms? Get yourself off of these drugs and off of these medicines. Get yourself stronger, fitter, more healthy, because the next coming corona storm, whatever it may be, is going to attack those people that are most vulnerable. And that's a lifestyle issue.
That's amazing information.
Right.
I mean, that's why you're here. That's why we work so well together. It's amazing. So So, we've chatted about this on Sundays, while we've been doing our social distancing training.
Yeah.
Why don't they report any of those studies when they show the deaths on TV of like obesity, age?
I think it's coming. It's still, this is all so very new and very, so there's nothing, Reuters is not a medical journal. So, but I think, eventually when this all shakes out, there'll be some more thoughtful information that's out there that, is well studied and all that. But it's pretty clear right now that there are those people that are most at risk do have these issues and problems. So, the national preparedness for this may not be vaccines. There's no promise of a vaccine that's coming. I'm sure they're working on it, but really your preparedness, readiness for this disease should be get strong, get fit, all of those things.
It always goes back to that, doesn't it?
That's.
Isn't that where we all started? The strong survive and the weak don't.
Yeah.
Isn't that where the natural habitat is the same way as us?
Well, there's
eat life before life eats you.
Well, there's certainly the message needs to be different for sure. Everyone should be encouraged to think about it on those terms. I think because we can't control for all of these things. Maybe they have a vaccine, maybe they don't. Maybe it comes back, maybe it doesn't. But it all boils down to the same thing.
What's your take on the vaccine?
I think it's coming. There's no doubt that there are multiple efforts to bring one for the fall and earlier. Now, it's going to be fast. They're going to get it in, and it's going to be faster than the usual course for vaccine programs, which usually take a lot longer. So, will there be shortcuts? Yeah, there will be shortcuts. What does that mean? I don't know. As far as, a vaccination program and all that. I'm just speculating here, but I know for sure that there are multiple attempts to get a vaccine out very, very quickly, soon enough. So, but, we can't count on that. We can't count on a vaccine being here. What we can count on is getting, within the next several months, getting stronger and fitter. We can count on that, right? For the most vulnerable. So what can you control? That's the only thing that you can control at this point in time. And if that's the homework that we all need to be doing right now.
Yeah, thinking about people that are holed up and, thinking about some of the Do More group, I worry for them because, I FaceTimed a couple of them and they're just sitting up in their home offices. And it's like, you need to be doing more. You could do more. It doesn't have to be the Woodgym more, but you could do more. And watching certain people be afraid is almost apocalyptic. Like it's kind of like zombies. It's. I've never seen anything like it.
Oh, I haven't either.
I think it reveals the people that are people like you. It reveals like steady Eddie as you always have been of not shaking too much. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I think part of that is just the work that you do to prepare yourself for, contingencies that are out there. I think we got to think about it that way too. Like, do we all need to be, our personal resilience in the face of uncertainties, could mean a lot of things, not just physically, mentally, but, do we all need to think about our financial stability? And do we count on the next bailout? Do we count on the next set of loans? Do we count on the medical system being able to support us all again? Because, they've literally shut down elective procedures and all, a lot of services right now. Do you count on the emergency service? Do you count on the police to be able to do the normal set of, kind of measures to keep us safe? Because, they might have different orders altogether. Do you count on, so we should really, hopefully we take a lot from this and we look at the 360 degree view of our lives as it pertains to, our reliance on medicines and pharmaceuticals and police and, all this stuff, your finances and the government and all that kind of stuff. And we all need, when you kind of go back to that, in my opinion, the old fashioned American ideals of your personal responsibility and independence when it comes to this stuff, and how do you get yourself ready for the next set of uncertainties, financially, mentally, spiritually, all those kinds of things. Because we've got that all pulled out from underneath us to a degree. It's not, in all honesty, we still have food on the table, and there are a lot of things that aren't so bad, but hey, maybe the next thing it's something different, and they do pull the food out from underneath us. So what are we going to do for that? So this is a good opportunity for us to kind of say, okay, where are my weaknesses here? Where in the situation where I feel most vulnerable and all that, and how do I prepare for that? I lived through Hurricane Katrina. So I know what a national disaster really, really looks like. And it's like, or a natural disaster, natural disaster really looks like when, literally like there are boats in your neighborhood, and it's just like, oh yeah, it really rattles your world. And you realize there's no police, there's no, anyone around at that time. And it's just, there was a whole bunch of uncertainty during that time. And it kind of says, well, I need to think about these things a little bit differently. I looked at the world a little bit differently because my world was, turned upside down. So
what did you think about? What was the first thing that came to mind?
Personal security, number one. There was no police. They were all evacuated, and I had to come back into the city as a hurricane relief team. And I was completely safe. So I don't. It was not like I had to blaze my way back into the city. But it was unsettling because I was like, okay, there's no police. Eventually, there's the National Guard that came in, so they made it safe. But there was a lot of uncertainty, a lot of, if you remember, looting, rioting in certain areas, reports of individuals shooting at helicopters. And I'm like, man, people have lost their minds, So number one thing that I remembered was and there's no police around. They're all evacuated, like, you're on your own, dude, and it's like, you should think about personal security a little bit differently, your own well-being, and because it was just totally pulled out from underneath me. That was the first thing I thought about. I'm like, and I was never someone that was really into like, this is into that at all, like, right. Guns or anything at all. But I sure as hell was like, man, your world is completely different when everybody's away and gone. That's it. So I was like, maybe I need to know how to shoot a pistol.
Right.
That was the first thing that came into my mind, And then, but anyway.
What was your first thing with this?
Coronavirus. With this?
You got the personal security. What I see is it strips everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody's equal, and what's the one thing that they're craving is their health,
yeah,
and their mental wellness.
Yeah.
Of like, I need Charlie. I need a place to. I need that because nobody's getting that anymore.
And also the social isolation too. All of a lot of people get their socialization through work. Mm-hmm. You spend most of your time at work. A lot of people do. If your gym or your tribe, as we had called it, all of that is hampered quite a bit. And so that screws with us a little bit, our heads, right? Our wellness in terms of that.
Yeah. But I guess, I don't know. I think I was prepared for things like this without even knowing, because it's been a different change for me, but I don't want to say a good change, because I know there's people out there where it's not, mm-hmm. but mine hasn't changed much. It's changed for the better. And, people around me are thinking I'm nuts. And I'm like, ride or die with me or not. I'm going to do this way. Either you are that way or not that way, but it shows people's character. It shows what they value.
Okay. Yeah.
where they are, and it will strip everybody. And I think that's also biblical. It will all be revealed of who we are and what we stand for. But I'm loving it.
It's been,
I'm absolutely for the first time in my life at 51 years old, I'm at peace. And I think that's the word I was searching for. And doing a mountain bike in the woods this week and having to dodge 5,000 family walkers that are never out there in the woods any other time. So they better stay up on it. I lectured each one when I was flying by them without a helmet and people yelling at me, "You got a helmet?" Well, okay, it's not okay. I might die from something else, but that's all right. But listen to a podcast with Billy Blanks talking about peace. He's the Tybo guy, and there's somebody in this room that doesn't know who the hell Billy Blanks is. Hey, it's okay. Surface, okay, let's go deep. Billy Blanks is awesome. You didn't like Tybo because you never heard the word Tybo before. You didn't know who Billy Blanks was. And he talked about peace on the podcast. That was amazing, of having everything and still being empty.
So,
and you talk about people like him, like the Jake Steinfelds, Body by Jake. Do you know who that is? These are people that really, Steve, you know these guys, right? These are people that really preach 50-50 health and wellness, and
a long time ago, right?
A long time ago,
Yeah.
and you got to respect their walk for that type of jazz. I mean, I know I do.
So, what was Billy Blank's background? It was kind of interesting, right? I mean,
Oh, well, he was in a gang. And, before it's called Tybo, Steve, it was called Carobics. Carobics. And then he found other people because he started training everybody. And everybody was like, okay, can you come train me one-on-one and go into movies? But he was in gangs, and they happened to walk upon a karate place. And the guy came out. I know it. It's 30. 3-0 is 30. I got it. People can wait on me. I'm in a new spot. What time is it? It's not even 9 o'clock yet. Do you think I care about those people through that plexiglass window? Honestly, do you actually think at this point in my life I care about what those two people are doing?
It's a new walk.
It's a new walk. Walk right out. So the guy came out and asked Billy Blanks in the gang, "Hey, do you want to try karate?" And of course, they're gang guys, And back then, Billy was cool with this podcast, Steve. He was like, we just fought back then. Nobody had guns and everything else. We were in gangs. We just beat up each other
with their fists.
Yeah, with their fists.
Okay.
And but the gangs were like, "Oh, that's wussy stuff, whatever." So everybody left and walked their own ways back home. Well, Billy waited till nobody could see him. And he turned back around and went to the karate place. And he said that changed his life.
Well, yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool. You might want to listen to that.
That sounds right. Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
But so what was his general walk, you think, as far as that was so interesting to you?
Well, he didn't have Christ in his life. So
okay.
his walk with that was like, I had everything. I was teaching everything. I was all this. And then one kid came in and was talking God, and he was like, "Man, I think I want to go to church with you." And he said it changed his life. So he speaks the word of like, what you say is what you'll be. And he pulled it up. I don't know what verse it was in. Maybe it was Ephesians. I don't know, Steve. But he talked about that. So he's a very positive person. And I think we've lost that. And I think that's what this is all resetting. Do I think it's nice the world is taking a time out? Yeah. I think it needed it.
Yeah.
I think we were taking a lot of things for granted and consuming and beating the shit out of this earth that, we don't have long to live on anyway.
Yeah.
And then you take life. Ben is probably our youngest guy in this room, but like, you're not promised tomorrow. And, Steve knows that from his experiences, and we all have had them in here is why not be nice and kind every day? What do you got to lose? And then we, and I'm telling you, Steve, you go in these grocery stores, Chewy and the group in here, they're scared.
Oh man. Yeah.
I mean, they're masking and, it's strange times.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, I think this will change us in the same way. There was a cultural shift after 9/11, I would say. I mean, I think I think there's going to be a cultural shift. To what direction, I'm not sure. A little bit with coronavirus, and one way or another. I mean, how it's going to shift, I don't really know. But it's that type of shakeup. That really, like you're saying, that time away, the unemployment, the fears, and then just like everything is dead silent. Like we're gonna come out of this a little bit differently. What it is, I'm not exactly sure.
Well, and like you said, I was talking to one of my clients, and we were talking about like, what do you think this will do for the next step? Mm-hmm. And what people, will they go back to the rat race and do the same stuff?
Yeah.
And, or, will they find a higher being, us in here is Jesus Christ, but will you find something else to lean on than just yourself? Because that's what I find also is the people that just lean on, the flesh driven. I'd be scared to death.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be scared to death.
Mm-hmm.
But I've said it over and over again. I'm not afraid.
Mm.
I'm not afraid to be called home at 51. I'd lived way above my pedigree. I'm supposed to be a bartender and work in a tree service in New Jersey. I mean, I got.
This is the last. This is like the last.
This is the last podcast. Signing off from here.
It's good knowing you guys.
No, but we've talked about the corona and what it's done and so many different theories that we've been fortunate enough to hear from different doctors and different businessmen and it's amazing of what and how everybody's had their own take on this.
Yeah.
Is it real? Is it not real?
Yeah.
It's just a higher version of the flu.
Yeah.
600,000 people die from obesity and heart attacks, 22,000 from handguns.
Yeah.
You go on and on.
Yeah.
But here's the thing is corona's out there, but there's also a lot of stuff going on out there that we're forgetting that we have to protect, like real different crimes that are out there. Police officers still getting shot.
Oh, man. There was that stabbing in not too far from me on I-40. That
Strawberry
was,
Plains.
oh my God. That was horrifying.
That's still out there. The stuff is still out there. So we still got to be, I wouldn't say, guard up, but, keep our head on a swivel and keep moving forward.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that you should be doing that anyway. I mean, regardless. But
I do like the way you talked about the health and wellness and the physical part of it. And, I know everybody's got to get rolling. Steve wants to get a pump on. But I do think that we keep these going again. I would love to do another one this weekend.
Yeah. Well, no matter what, we got to keep on doing our as much best as we can our normal stuff, and it's a good time to reconnect with family because now we got I've reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in a long time or spoken to some family members and other checking up on them. It's spending a little bit more time with the kids and the family. I mean, there's opportunity there for that stuff, which is great. It's good.
And people that do it, like, there's a couple of my clients, we go 14, 16 hours a day. Sometimes it's nice to be still.
Yeah.
Because you're never still. I know not too much of it but I'm not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying the shifting, the pivoting, whatever we want to call it, the next stage.
Could you just say that this is a nice time to rebalance?
Yeah. Reboot.
Reboot and rebalance a little bit. So taking it as an opportunity to do that and get ready for the next one. Get fit. Get yourself together. If you got to be locked down again, you got those things in place and know how to do this better the next time. If it comes to that, hopefully it doesn't. But there's things that we can do right now that can make ourselves more resilient. Mentally, physically, spiritually, all that kind of stuff, financially, all that stuff.
And it does work hand in hand. And Dr. James Choo does so much more than just work out the Woodgym. He has his other activities that he does before he gets here at 6 a.m, which is amazing. But physically fit and physically strong also helps your mental approach.
1,000%.
I mean, 100.
Your mental resilience as a result of the physical body.
And we're doing the podcast out of the Woodgym, so we always have to have that common denominator of health strength, fitness is always going to be back to one of the answers that we have all the time. And I think you talked about it.
Here's another thing: get your sleep in. You're not going to work. Go sleep. Get some rest. That'll also make your immune system stronger. I mean, everything too. Your mental well-being. I mean, that's a great time to reset. Get your 8-9 hours in right now, because that's going to make you healthier too. So there's plenty we can do right now.
I love it.
Yeah.
Dr. James Choo's in the house. It's been a blessing, and you've helped me through this last month too.
Likewise.
We've snuck in on Sundays and had some good talks and training sessions.
Yeah.
And
no one else is in here.
You're a rock, dude. You're steady. At some point, I think this cat should write a book. He's the man. He's the myth, the man, the legend in here. You're steady, and I appreciate it. And I love you, and good well to your family.
Yeah, well, love you too, man. And it's back at you. It's always good to. I always look forward to you and I talking.
It's awesome.
Everybody else too.
Thanks, Ben.
All right, man. We'll see you later.
Bye.